Thank you, John and Richard, for returning to Cleveland with this film. And I'm curious as to how you describe those feelings of bringing the story on film in this documentary back to Akron, where you both grew up.
I think it's a perfect place to have a premiere. You know, my family will be there. A lot of the guys' families will be there. And it's going to be intense because there are some pretty intense moments in the film. And Charlie and Donovan, they haven't seen the film yet. So, you know, I'm curious to how the reaction is going to be, and I hope they like it.
Yeah. And Richard, you've seen the film
Yes.
already. What are your thoughts on it?
It's kind of surreal to see yourself on TV and listen to yourself say certain things that you forgot you said. And, you know, you have flashbacks of what it was like to be inside and coming home and all those things. And sometimes it jerks at you in an emotional way. And then sometimes it brings back some of the anger you have from the experience. But I think, like John said, it's important that we screen the film here first, because this is what contextualizes our situation.
Right. And have you kind of given Donovan or Charlie kind of a buffer and said, I've seen it already, you know, it's okay, guys, or have you talked to them at all about it, or are they going to be watching it?
Yeah, I talked with both of them about the film, not into details, not about the details, but I told them I thought it was a great film. Like, I couldn't believe, honestly, I didn't think our story was film worthy, because in prison you hear stories about like ours all the time. The stuff that we went through is common. So I'm trying to figure out why John wanted to follow us around anyways. So, but after seeing the film, I'm like, wow, this story really needs to be told.
And John, why did you begin interviewing your friends? Well, I also want to give you an opportunity, as you answer why did you begin interviewing them, that you've known them. You are not a documentary coming in from the outside and interviewing them through knowing the subject matter or through knowing, you know, sort of the cause or problem of mass incarceration. These are actually friends of yours. These are people that you know through, you know, when you lived here in Akron. So talk about that, and then say, you know, why did you want to interview them for this?
Well, I knew them as kids. Frankie, I didn't meet until I started filming in 2007. But, you know, I knew them, and the way they were perceived in the media, you know, as the Cooler Bandits at the time, and they were sort of demonized. And then I watched them grow up in prison, and I watched them, you know, face realities that a lot of us only, you know, think about theoretically. And and then sort of this whole wave of mass incarceration and over-sentencing happened, and you see all these statistics, and I thought, well, here's a story about people I know, you know, sort of bringing the complex humanities forward from the statistics so people may care. And so it's sort of why, the thrust of why I wanted to do it.
Yeah, I think it stands apart from a lot of films on this subject matter, because a lot of films on this subject matter are very political. And that's great, because we need those call to actions. We need films that are going to say that. But for me, what I started to find in the story, and in the story that I think John kind of sculpted, is a story about friendship. That's what starts to come through time and time again, and the strength that you and Charlie had, you know, when you guys completed, you know, when you came onto parole sooner, to me is just so interesting. Does it seem as interesting, or does it seem as emotional when you watched it in film?
Yeah, it really does. And it's strange. The strangest thing is, you know, I'm originally from Massachusetts, East Coast, and Charlie and I, when we first met, we didn't get along. He used to make fun of my accent and everything. And my cousin and Charlie were best friends, and I used to want to fight him. My cousin, I mean, that's Charlie, that's all how he does. But as time grew on, he and I became the closest of friends. We became closer than my cousin and I, and most of my family members. So when seeing our relationship play out on film, it's like, wow, this guy is more to me than just a friend. He's like a blood relative. Everything that I've been through, from my childhood to teenage years to adulthood, he's been there. You know, we shared a cell together and everything. So it's like, it's really surreal for me, man, just seeing the film and everything.
It's admirable. It's
Yeah.
admirable how you two are with each other. It's admirable the support that you guys give when you say to him, when you're talking to him about barber school and completing that, and when he's visiting you in California, it really is that you guys are in strengthening each other. You know, even if on the first, you know, at some point in your friendships, you guys said, hey, let's, you know, rob restaurants. Right now, you guys are saying to each other, supporting each other, hey, let's do this, let's do that, which is a strength, and I think it's a wonderful lesson. One thing I really am interested in your, you know, opinion on, Richard, is here at Cuyahoga Community College, we have a lot of students in the Cuyahoga area, which includes, you know, Cleveland, Northeast Ohio, that have grown up the way you've grown up. And in the media arts program where I teach, they're learning the skills that John has. And so they are now applying, you know, media making and creating to telling their stories. From your experience, kind of watching John do this and watching the cameras come in and they're lighting this and they want to fill your, you know, shadow here, you know, lights and things like that. What's kind of your thought, or what advice do you think you could give to students who are coming from your background but learning to be filmmakers?
I think the thing I would probably tell them is stay true to their voice, what they see their stories are, and tell it from their point of view, because there's nothing more powerful than someone who's experienced it. So even though John didn't go through the trauma of prison life, you know, he was able to capture it because he know us and we're friends, and we talk outside of the film, and we talk on the phone all the time, and we talk a lot, so he's able to do that. But I would mainly tell him to be true to the voice that's within them, because that's what will guide them for their film. John had to be true to his voice, and we talked about how the film should have been made, and they, you know, John, he'll probably tell you more about it, and the film was supposed to go in a few different directions, but at the end of the day, he stayed true to his voice, and from all the reviews I hear from everybody who's seen the film, they love the film because it didn't go into that political, you know, mass incarceration and all this, so.
Yeah. John, how difficult was it for you to stick to your instinct and say, I'm not headed in that direction?
It wasn't that difficult. I mean, the only difficult thing was mostly financial, because, you know, you sort of got feedback from folks who would give you money but wish the film went in another direction. You know, people wanted you know, a film that would explain more about the poverty, where they came from, made excuses for their actions. And knowing the guys for, you know, decades, never once did they make an excuse for what they did. So why would I make that kind of film?
Right, right.
No, it's not, you know, I'm not interested in any kind of paternal polarizing or political thing, or making them victims.
Right. They also are a bit unexpected in it. I wonder, was there anyone that asked you about that? You know, oh, they don't talk the way we now have understood that people from this background should be speaking.
Well, you know, there are certain buzzwords. Oh, they're so articulate, or, you know, they're not. You know, stuff you expect from people.
Right.
You know, some people.
Have you seen the film affect anyone's thoughts or opinions, making it a personal story? Have viewers expressed to you that now they kind of can see having a personal reaction in their own life?
You know, since it's premiering here, not as much, but, you know, through the social media thing, I had an interaction with a woman the other day from Akron, posted it in this North Side Akron sort of Facebook page, and a woman sort of went off the rails of, why are these guys whining, and, you know, oh, they should just do their time and shut up. And I sent her a little clip. I said, you know, just look at this and let me know what you think. She responded back, I'd like to retract everything I said, you know, I'm sorry, and I want to sign the petition for Frankie we have on change.org for, and then she went into how her brother was arrested and did 5 years time, and she visited him. She was the one who turned him in, and, you know, how difficult it is to visit someone in prison. And then Frankie said in the clip that I showed her, you know, you don't realize that when you're in prison that your family's in a prison too.
That was beautiful.
And that connected with her, I think.
Yes.
And so those are the moments that make a difference in why, I think, why I make film or art or whatever.
And I think that's important, and I want to thank you both so much for doing that. I think that's the power of film. And thank you for coming here and speaking with us. Thank you, John, for coming and speaking with us.
Glad to be here.
Thank you for watching. For more information on this film and the filmmakers, visit our website, clevelandfilmtalk.org.